What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be talking about Imaginary. Imaginary is another really terrible horror movie from 2024, and two, another really terrible horror movie from Blumhouse. When Jessica moves back into her childhood home with her family, her youngest stepdaughter Alice develops an eerie attachment to a stuffed bear named Chauncey she finds in the basement. Alice starts playing games with Chauncey that begin playful and become increasingly sinister. As Alice's behavior becomes more and more concerning, Jessica intervenes only to realize Chauncey is more than just the stuffed toy bear she believed him to be. So as you can tell from my opening of this review, yeah, this is yet again another horrible, awful horror movie for 2024. What is it with horror movies in 2024? 2023 was so good for horror, and now it's just like they're just dumping everything. This is like the 2024 is the stomping ground for horror. I don't get what it is, man. I hope that the rest of the horror movies that come out this year are really good, because if they're anything like this or Night Swim, we're in for a long year, man. What did I like about this movie? Well, DeWanda Wise was pretty good. She gave a pretty good lead performance. Um, I think that's about it. Maybe like a couple of visuals here and there. Like there were some frightening moments with the faces at the end. It reminded me of Coraline, but at the same time, it came across as goofy. Do you remember that Star Trek movie? I think it's a Next Generation movie. I forget what movie it was. It was either, I think it was Insurrection. I don't know. It was one of the Star Trek Next Generation movies. The one where they go to that stupid planet with the stupid people that have the stupid faces. You know, the goofiness of Star Trek. That's what this reminded me of at the end. The entire third act, it felt like it was coming to play, but it just felt goofy. And there were faces that were goofy. You know what I mean? And when I say that the third act came to play, that doesn't make up for really how boring this movie is in the first two thirds. Jesus, this is like Benadryl or NyQuil. This puts you to sleep so easily. I wasn't invested in anything, man. I couldn't get behind this family. The teenage daughter is just, or stepdaughter is just such a little bitch, man. Like, is she like that at school? I really hope she's not like that at school. There's so many different conversations that are to be had in this movie. And of course, it's directed by the one and only Jeff Wadlow, who directed Truth or Dare, Fantasy Island. So that should tell you everything you need to know about Imaginary. And he unfortunately co-wrote the script too. And listen, I understand that you have to explain, like, okay, an imaginary friend is coming to life and it's sinister, it's trying to kill people. I get it, but I don't know, man. This whole lore that they come up with, it's essentially the Google research scene, but it's really, the other cliche, the neighbor who knows everything. It's so long-winded and convoluted and just overly complicated, and it breaks its own rules, it contradicts its own rules. There's no consistency with the lore or what the entity does or anything like that. There's not even a single moment that really sticks out to me in this movie. I'm not even gonna say really anything Jeff Waldo does has a scene or a moment that sticks out, but I mean, he made Kick-Ass 2, and all the scenes with Hit Girl and Kick-Ass 2 at least kind of stuck out to me. But here, like Fantasy Island and like Truth or Dare, there's nothing really here that sticks out. And when I'm talking about the third act kind of just went for it, it felt like a giant circus. That's where I was having fun, but I was having fun making fun of the movie. I was having fun laughing with the movie. When it gets to that point, it gets unintentionally funny, but the movie thinks you're laughing at it when in reality you're laughing with it. It's just so out there and ridiculous, man. Like, honestly, though, if the rest of the movie had been centered around that concept, that probably could have worked. What seems like a multiverse type of thing. But you just have really terrible writers writing this movie. You have a really terrible director directing this movie that probably think this is like something great, you know? I mean, is he still making that 8 Ball movie? Are we still getting that? Oh my god, Jesus. They're gonna suffer through that too. Ugh. Honestly, this went the way I was expecting it to. For a movie about an imaginary friend that is an imaginary friend that is sinister and turns evil, it's goofy as hell. but just not in the goofiest ways you want it to be. But honestly, why have this thing possess a bear? A stuffed teddy bear? Like, what is the significance of the stuffed teddy bear? That's my biggest question leaving this movie. It doesn't make any sense to me. Not only does it contradict its own rules and its lore, and it just breaks all of that stuff, but it just leaves so many open-ended questions that the movie fails to answer and won't answer because we're not going to get a sequel to this thing. And you know that they weren't smart enough to actually think about when they were writing the script for this thing. I didn't like this movie. Imaginary can just rot in popcorn hell. So if you guys have seen Imaginary, let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.